Howdy, welcome to Texas Front Porch. Y'all have yourself a sleep. I'm your host, Texas. Glad shotgun me tonight is this little kid we call Kristen. He's the newest member of our motley little gang. And if you're doing this on Odyssey Radio, iHeartRadio, Spotify, or any other platform like over yonder on the Facebook, be sure to come on over to Texas Front Porch on YouTube. Hit that subscribe button. Maybe give us a little thumbs up. Y'all be sure to catch us when we have the show. Tonight, we have a treat. Some dear friends of mine, Amy and Laney, from What the Paranormal is with us today. We're a mama and daughter team, and they do paranormal investigations, and they've gotten into the spiritual side of things. And they're brave little sweethearts, too. Y'all head on over and show them some love and tell Texas teachers. And we're going to be chewing the fat about some possible skinwalker activity and what might be a ghost train on their new homestead. Y'all take a liking to what we're doing around here. If you have an encounter, shoot us an email over paracryptoencounters@gmail.com. You can always text us 972-559-0988. And if you want to throw this old dog a bone, super chats, super stickers, and super thanks are open. Screw that saddle down tight and ride along with us. Enjoy the show, folks. Howdy.
Hey. How are you this evening?
Good. Welcome to your first co-host of a show, officially, I think.
Yay. So excited.
And see, everybody had their doubts. But I managed to finagle you on your debut on my show. See?
I know.
That's how I work. See, I'm sneaky like that.
Well, thank you.
You know, I'm really looking forward to working a lot with you, because one, you know, when we interviewed you on the show, it was like we'd known each other for a while. It was like we just kicked it off, and it was awesome. Even though you did have laryngitis, but you soldiered on and made it through. I honestly, if it would have been me, I'd have said, yeah, let's reschedule. But no, you did. You made it through.
Yes.
And you are, for people that don't really know you, you are an investigator yourself.
I am.
You and Jessica are research partners.
We are. Yes.
And you've caught some pretty crazy stuff. And hopefully we will be able to see that one day, see the evidence one day.
Yes. Yeah. I'll get it up one day and get it all to the computer at some point, and that way everyone can see some of the things we've caught, because I know just me sitting here saying, oh, I've had this happen. I've had this happen. I've seen this. It's like, yeah. But no, we actually have some proof.
Yeah. You know, and it's so hard because I've got so much stuff packed away, on files, and stuff that I just haven't went through. It's one, I need to get somebody that's decent with audio, better than I've got somebody. I just need to nail him down and have time for him to do it, because I know it's Randy, our tech guy, our paranormal guy, and but we keep him busier than a one-legged man in a butt kicking contest. But there's always something we're always asking. Right now, I think he's helping Rob set up his new computer system. So,
That's good. That's good. Poor Rob's had some issues.
He has, man. He's been chomping at the bit about this new computer. If this one screws up, I don't want to be around when that does. Good grief, he may hit the ceiling.
You'll have to get another one, because the other one would be smashed, I'm sure.
Yeah. I'm just seeing him taking that thing with a Louisville Slugger or something.
Oh my gosh. Yes. Yeah. Poor Rob.
So we've got some dear friends of mine, and I don't think Lenny's going to be able to join us.
Aww.
But Amy and Laney from What the Paranormal, and they've got a YouTube channel, they've got a website, they've got the whole 9 yards. Anything social media, y'all can find them over yonder. And if you don't know about them, go over. They do live investigations on, and stuff. And they just moved not too long ago. And this new place they moved into, I'll be dead gum if they didn't jump out of the frying pan right in the fire. They've got all kinds of crazy stuff, and that's what we're going to talk about tonight. And they've spent some time out in the field with us up there in Brown Springs, so they know how crazy things can get up there. In fact, they were with us the night everything went off the chain, and I mean, it was like that thing was whatever was up there just throwing everything but the kitchen sink at us that night.
Wow. Can't wait to hear about it.
Oh, I know. She's, and I love her to death. Her and Laney, she's like a third daughter to me. She's sweetheart, and they just either recently had a birthday or we got one coming up. I can't remember. Well, let's get her up here before I just talk through the whole dadgum show.
And you could do it too.
Mm-hmm. Give me a little rain and I'll take off.
Yes, Laney's birthday is coming up. So it's almost been a year since we've been back out to Brown Springs.
I know it. Man, I tell you what, I'll be so glad when this heat breaks and we can get back out in the field. Fat boys and hot weather just don't mix,
Well, hot weather and skinny boys having to climb up a big old hill don't work either. So ain't got nothing to do with our size.
So
it's just too hot.
Amy, before we get cranked off into this, why don't you tell everybody? I kind of brushed over where to find y'all and what y'all do and everything, but why don't you give us your version of it, because you're going to tell a lot better than I am.
We're everywhere. We are everywhere. We have every social media, and it's What the Paranormal on everything. We did just build our website and get it launched, and that is whattheparanormal.org. And we're trying all kinds of different things on there. We're going to be having a blog soon. We're trying to get our name out everywhere, and if there's a place we can put our name, it's going to be there. So yeah, anywhere, and it's What the Paranormal on everything.
Awesome. Yeah. I got to see some of your YouTube videos today, and it's some pretty cool stuff on there.
Oh, thank you very much.
Yes.
Yeah, I said, I'll go. I was telling her who was going to have it on tonight and everything, and I said, here's their their YouTube channel.
Yes, we are that crazy in person.
Hopefully you didn't.
Same, I miss your face. Sorry.
Howdy. That was Laney. I guarantee you.
Oh.
She I don't know. I don't know how I can top last year's birthday present, Amy.
I don't either. That's hanging up in her room right now, and everywhere we go, she tries to find her outfit to revolve around that hat.
Yeah, I've become kind of a hat hoarder. I think when we was running up to Alabama, I stopped twice and bought me hats on the way up.
I'm loving the Charlie Daniels hat, though.
Thank you.
It suits him. It suits him well.
Hi, everyone.
Hey, I can see you now.
Now, y'all just moved from Texas to Oklahoma.
About 4 months ago, yeah.
Yeah, I ain't figured that one out yet, but why anybody wants to run away from Texas? I don't. Into Oklahoma, that I don't understand. But
it was mainly to be closer to Cody. But as soon as we got up here, they transferred to East Texas and started doing a bunch of work. So it was kind of like a slap in the face. And honestly, I'd give anything to be back in Texas right this minute. So I will always be a Texas girl, even living here. I still, if anybody asks where I'm from, it's Texas.
Well, I tell you what, that's one thing about Texas and Oklahomans too, man. They are diehard no matter where they're at.
Mm-hmm.
You can take you can take the people out of Texas and Oklahoma, but you can't take Oklahoma and Texas out of people. That goes. I
Yeah.
think that goes pretty much any Southern because
Yeah. Yeah.
I know
Mm-hmm.
that Georgia girl sitting over here beside me is probably the same damn way.
Oh, yes, of course. And you can't get rid of the accent either. So I'm just stuck.
No, ma'am, you can't. So y'all kind of jump out of the frying pan into the fire, like I was saying, because I know y'all's house over there in Texas was active,
Mm-hmm.
and but y'all got a whole new can of worms you've opened up over there, hadn't you?
Right. Well, in the last place we lived in Texas, we intentionally moved into it because it was haunted. It was an old school, and so we found out that the center basement apartment had come open, and we took it. We wanted it. When we moved here, we said we were going to cleanse everything, and we were going to, fresh start, move in. But we took pictures of the house and sent them out to all of our friends. And of course, one in particular that's in chat here, Queen Laura TV there, she automatically sends a picture back with about 30 circles on it, where she had already circled all kinds of stuff that she had seen in the house pictures and all that. And so it's like, great, because I seen them too after she sent it back. And so when we first moved in, it wasn't that bad. It was just, we knew we had a couple little spirits that followed us because they follow us everywhere we go. We had a female and a child that we knew of. And then it went from there. But then people started finding out, we would talk to people in town, tell them we lived here. We found out that a couple people have passed away here. And just all kinds of weird stuff. But then the big stuff started happening. And so that's where we're at now.
So did you guys do a little background research on the house once you guys moved there?
When we moved here, we didn't really find a whole lot, but we weren't really like wanting to know a whole lot at first. The guy that worked with my daughter, we had to get him home one night, and Lainey was like, "Oh, that's where we live." He's like, "Oh, my grandparents used to live there." He said, "A couple people died there," and we're like, "Great." So that was kind of just like, because this town is so small, like you can walk a couple of blocks and be anywhere. And so everybody knows everybody in this town, and the house was just, everybody knew what it was. So now as far as what happened in the office, that's what sparked our like big research. And what's weird is the house that we're in now wasn't the actual house that was here. Apparently there is a small building in the back of our house in the backyard that if you GPS, Google Earth, any of it, our address goes to that little house. So that was the actual house that was here, where the little building sits today. So, and it is about probably 15 to 20 feet away from the railroad tracks. So there's a lot of questions that we still have. So I don't know. Hopefully we'll figure it out one of these days.
So why don't you clue everybody in on what happened and why y'all started researching that?
All right. So we had just finished a live stream, and we had Laura and Melissa. They're both here in chat. Patrick was here, and he's in chat. And it was me sitting in here, and I was talking. We were carrying on a conversation, and all of a sudden there was this huge bang behind me. The whole wall shook. The wind, like all this behind the brick wall is glass, and that shook. Everything that was on my shelves shook. And first thing I did was do this, like I ducked and covered, because some of them on the panel that were up here with me, they were like, "What the was that?" you know, because they could hear how loud it was. And so first thing I did is I got up, I ran outside, looked, nothing there. No, nothing. So I had asked them that were in the living room, I said, did y'all hear that? And they were like, hear what? And I was like, because maybe sonic boom, you know, I was trying to think of anything that was like, that could have caused it. Nothing. And so whenever I got back in here, after they got through yelling at me for going outside and checking the noise, I said, that sounded like a train derailed in my backyard. That was the first thought. And that's why I ducked and covered, is because that's what it sounded like to me. And so the next day, I got on the phone with April, who is my sister, and we started researching. Well, I put in my address for the town that we live in, and the first thing that comes up was train derailment, and it was like 1957, I believe that one was. And so I was like, oh, I wonder if that could have been a ghost train, or as Lainey calls them, our ghost riders. So we went to the library, which happens to be the old train station, and they have all kinds of memorabilia from the train station that was there. And they have 3 pictures on the wall that are of 3 different train derailments, and every single one of them happens right back here behind my house. So for some reason, there has been 3. They're all right here at the house, just this little stretch, and they're all within probably 10 to 15 years apart. And so it was just very weird. Very weird.
Wow. Sounds like you picked the perfect place to move to.
I did, to an extent. Now it's kind of getting a little aggravating.
How many times have you heard this crash now?
The crash, we've heard it twice. But me and my daughter were also laying in bed one night, and we heard the big boom. And, you know, of course, that didn't like shake the room or anything, but we did hear a big loud boom. Got up, went all around the house looking, and there was nothing. So I don't know. I don't know if that was the same boom that we're hearing back here, but something definitely didn't want us to sleep that night.
Wow.
So Kristen Bill says explosive type sounds, in their opinion, could be entities coming in and out of our dimension.
Yeah, it definitely could be. And so I've heard what sounds like that kind of stuff before. And at my old place, we had a portal that was in our closet. The closet door would just open and shut at random times. That was caught on a live stream. It was caught on a video. So I know the sounds and what that you can hear. So thinking of a locomotive coming through a portal, the type of sound that it would make is what I hear. It is so loud. Yeah, it's so loud.
Now, when I lived out yonder on the old family place, back in the 80s when I was a young kid, you know, right, same time about the same time I had my dog man encounter and all that kind of stuff.
Yeah,
we would hear explosions, and well, what I thought was explosions at the time, I was, and it would rattle the whole house. Come to find out, they were breaking the sound barrier out there because they can't do it over, you know, populated areas. So they wait till they get out yonder in the country, and then they break the sound barrier. But everybody heard. I mean, the dogs would go nuts. The horses would run around. You know, you have these cows running around with their tail up in the air. You know, stuff like that. Goats jumping all over the place. You know, it was crazy.
That was a sight to see.
No, it wasn't quite the same, man.
Yeah.
So when this happens, when this happens, you don't necessarily you pretty much have to be in that room then, from what you're saying. Like if somebody else were to be in the house, they might not hear it.
Right,
Which
because
is also
my husband did not believe me at all. I told him, I said, everyone on the panel heard it. And he's like, well, I didn't hear anything. And I'm like, okay, well, you didn't hear it, but we all heard it. We're not hearing stuff, especially all of us at the same time. And so he was in here the second time it happened. And my sister was also up on the panel the second time it happened because she wasn't there the first time. She was just hearing us explain it. And so when he heard it, he just yelled, "What the?" And I was like, "See, I told you." I said, "That's exactly what we heard." So I went in there and I pulled Lainey in here and I said, "Did you hear that big bang?" She said, "What big bang?"
wow.
I said, "Yep, told you."
Yeah. Yeah. Something, if it wasn't paranormal, something that loud like a sonic boom, everybody in the house would hear it.
Right.
No
Yeah,
escaping it.
especially, because it scares all of us all the time when I hear a sonic boom. As many,
Mhm.
you think you'd be used to them, but they're so quick and out of the blue that you're just not prepared for them. So, and that you can hear all over. This you can't. You cannot hear it unless you're back here.
Huh. Interesting. So
Is
have
there,
you
is there,
seen? Oh, I'm sorry.
oh, I was just going to ask, um, is there any way that is there any type of investigation you could use or you could do that might tell you that if it's a porthole or whatever?
I'm definitely going to be going out in the woods over here by the tracks, and doing some stuff. And Laura, do not yell at me if you're still in here. Um, but I definitely want to find some answers um, to what's going on. But I know I can't honestly say that there's a portal there, but I do know another weird thing that happens is we have trains go through here constantly. And because it is a small town, there's 3 intersections right here by my house. And all 3 of them, the train blows its whistle every single time. And I'm constantly muting my mic when we're on panels or live streams. Well, there's a couple of times at night, and it usually happens around 1 o'clock in the morning, that
Mhm.
a train will go through. We'll hear the train plain as day, but it never blows its whistle.
Hmm.
But trains coming through at 2, 3, 4 o'clock in the morning, they're constantly blowing their whistle.
Yeah.
And my thought process, because I overthink everything, is back in the day, they wouldn't have had these intersections, or they wouldn't have had the poles that come down, the lights that blink or whatever. Therefore, the train not necessarily would blow its whistle at the
Mhm.
intersections that it's at. So maybe what we're hearing at the same time at 1 o'clock in the morning is possibly a ghost train. And so maybe set up the camera around that time here and there, or get a camera that's always going in my backyard. One of the
Huh.
two.
Yes.
But that's, what I'm thinking, that because that would be the only reason why the one train that comes through at 1 o'clock in the morning doesn't blow a whistle, but the other ones do.
Right. Because they're supposed to, before any crossing. It's 2 long, 1 short, and another long. I do believe they have to.
And yes, they do
That's
that.
one.
Well, I do know that if the city the city can okay it for them not to blow their horn through certain intersections, like when they're close to houses and stuff. But it takes a lot for the community to go out and petition and all that kind of stuff. And they had
Right.
you know, but otherwise, yeah, they blow at every intersection. So
Mhm.
um, yeah,
Hmm.
that's odd. That is odd. You know what would be? I don't know if this is. It's just spitball idea here. I wonder if you could set up a camera because you don't want to sit out there all night, because it's probably not going to happen. But you know how that goes. But if you could set a camera up, not only looking outside, but if you could put a K2 meter in the shot
Hmm.
Hmm.
and see if that to see if the K2 meter goes off. If you hear it, it goes off at the same time.
Right.
Mhm.
I know you would, Senior.
What did you saying?
He said, holler at him. He'll go with me.
Yeah. Well, you know I'm going to come up and pay you a visit.
Oh, I know you are. We've got several dates for several places, Tech.
Yes,
You
we
just gotta,
do.
you
Yes,
just gotta
we do.
clear that dance card out some there.
Well, you know, I tell you what. When we get off air here, by God, we'll set some dates. How's that?
Okay,
Aw.
because you know we got one place in particular I definitely want to take you to.
Yeah, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I've tried to, because we'll go up yonder to hit that casino up there, and I've tried to talk my wife into a couple occasions.
You're gonna try to get me broke and possessed in the same night, Tex.
I might have to join in on this outing.
We have fun on our outings.
Mm-hmm.
I tried to talk her into, hey, let's go over to the cemetery real quick. So I ain't going to no cemetery with you.
She just wants to go gambling, Tex.
Yeah, exactly. See, I didn't come in here. I didn't come up here to go ghost hunting, and I ain't going ghost hunting with you anyway.
Can't blame her.
She won't even let me drive down the main road that goes down to Brown Springs. She won't have no part of it.
Uh-oh.
Well, y'all heard about what happened out on Brown Springs Road, right?
Oh yeah, several years ago.
Well, just a while back.
Oh, are you talking about the wreck?
Yes.
I didn't know how. For some reason, I was thinking that was several years ago. But when was that?
That was within the last year.
Was it really?
Mm-hmm.
Wow.
Yeah. I don't know. There may be two that we're talking about, but I know of one that I was sent by several different people. I was sent the story about it because they know that we go out there a lot. So.
Well, you might as well let the cat out of the bag and tell everybody about it, because Kristen don't even know what we're talking about.
I don't. Not a clue.
On the same road that we're on when we go to Brown Springs, and from the sound of it, it doesn't sound like it's very far from the cemetery part. There was a wreck, and one of the young men was killed. The other young man survived. But yeah, it just is kind of adding to the whole vibe out there.
Tell you what, there's a lot of bad juju out there. That's for sure.
There is.
I just don't think, and I know you didn't come on here to talk about Brown Springs, but we normally do.
I like talking about Brown Springs.
And we keep. I'm just teasing Kristen because she's chomping at the bit to get down there. But,
it's worth it.
I just don't know what all we have out there. Honestly, I
think there's a lot more than we even think is out there.
I do too. Because I mean, we know the physical things are out there. We know there's some bad hoodoo out there, and it's whatever's over that cemetery, watching over that cemetery, guarding it, whatever you are in control of, whatever it is. All the research that we did came from independent sources, but they said the same thing, and that was a big, dark, ancient entity that was supposedly 14 to 16 foot tall, and that's exactly what we got a picture of.
Wow.
And then you got that damn picture, that damn video that y'all caught out there, Amy, that's got that little jowl running around, materializing out of a tree. Now catch this, Chris.
Yeah.
Materializes out of a tree and solidifies and walks off, turns and walks off.
Yes.
Wow. You guys got that on camera.
Yes. I've got two stills. I've got two stills from the video. Let me bring those up real quick.
Yes.
But
that was like our first big catch. And we went out there just for the cemetery. We had no idea until we were on our way there that, you know, people had seen Bigfoot and all that. And we weren't into Bigfoot and all that then, not like we are now. But so we didn't think nothing of it, you know. And then as soon as we posted the video, I had so many guys saying, "Why did y'all go out there by yourselves? That's one of the most dangerous places, blah, blah, blah." And I'm like, what? I didn't know. and now it's one of my favorite places to go.
So do you think it's more ghost out there or more ET related or cryptids, or do you feel like it's all of the above?
I think it is everything and then some.
Wow.
That place is,
there.
You leave there mind blown every single time.
Wow.
Like,
it's a hot
I leave investigations all the time with more questions than I have answers, but that place just literally blows my mind every single time we go.
Wow. So cool.
Yeah, it's pretty crazy out there. I mean, but honestly, I think a lot of it is just so freaking dark that.
Yeah, it sounds like some of the places we go, it started off as Bigfoot is what we were searching for, and we have found so much more ET and some possibly even paranormal, and it's a hot spot. I mean, it's almost like everything is attracted to these areas. You get a mixture. You never know what you're going to find when you're out there.
Brown Springs is like a box of chocolates. You never know what you're going to
I don't necessarily think, and it's kind of like with the Goatman's Bridge too that we go to. I don't necessarily think that a lot of the stuff that's there was there in the beginning. I think it has been brought there, opened up there, because apparently there's a lot of stuff going on that we had no clue was going on out there, because we've even been stopped and questioned ourselves. You know, are y'all cutting the heads off chickens? Oh, no.
Yeah.
Oh, no.
Yeah. She's talking about that night we got surrounded by 5 cops at the bottom of the cemetery. We pulled up and we parked. It was me and Bob Van Buren and her and Laney and Cody. And they were in their truck and we was in ours. And we pulled up and we hadn't even got out of the truck. I mean, we just pulled up and all of a sudden we're surrounded. And we're like getting out of the truck like this, you know, we're not armed, blah, 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 and all this kind of stuff. I had no idea what the hell was going on. Wow. And they were like, what are y'all doing up here? Blah, 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 and all this kind of stuff. And I said, well, and I kind of got this big old shitty grin on my face. And they said, y'all up here hunting Bigfoot? And I said, well, yeah, we are. I said, that's me and Bob's job. I said, and folks over the other group folks, they're paranormal. And then that opened up a whole can of worms, man. We started talking to these fellas. We talked to them for about 30, 45 minutes. And they came out and said 2 of their officers had Bigfoot sightings. The guy that I was talking to had a paranormal event happen to him in the cemetery. I mean, but they were out there looking for a group of women. I'm going to give them the benefit of the doubt. A group of women in an SUV, all dressed in black, sacrificing chickens, doing some kind of ritual stuff. This is called what is they were looking for a coven of witches.
Freaky.
And that's when we found out about the freaking tigers too, Amy.
Yes. Yeah.
Because when we said we're not armed, we're not packing or anything like that, or you know, Jason was down at the other camp, and or at the camp when we said he's packing, you know, he said, well, we encourage everybody to carry sidearm here. We're like,
right? Yes.
What?
And then we found out why.
Yeah. That probably what I ran into with my eye shine up there a few years ago was very possibly could have been a freaking tiger. So, I thought it was Bigfoot all this time, you know. I was okay with that.
Yeah, you really never know what you're going to find, including a tiger.
I never felt so close to senior that night as we were, because we were like literally dragging him down the hill because he was facing the back with the pew pew, and then y'all up front with the pew pews and stuff, and me and Lainey were just kind of in the middle, just guiding. It's like, okay, take a step over this stick. Yeah,
That was
that
so
was the
funny.
craziest night ever. It was the best night ever, but it was the craziest night ever.
Yeah.
I'd do it all
That
over
was so
again.
funny though. We were going down that trail, and
Junior.
yeah, you had I think it was your light, wasn't it?
Yes, it was my light.
It was your light. Was it your hair or Laney's hair? I can't remember.
No, it was Lainey. The way
it
the
was
light
Lainey.
hit Lainey.
Yeah.
His
That's
reaction
shadow.
though was hilarious.
Now, what y'all got to remember is this trail that you walk. It's a washout. It's a trail that's been used so much it's washed out, but it's washed out almost 6 feet deep.
Yeah.
So the actual ground level is right here, you know, and you're walking and it's bead, and you got and it's offset like this. So you got a trail about this wide over here, and then lower you got a trail about this wide over here to walk up and down. So anything that was in this brush, it's a perfect ambush point. Well, the light and Laney's shadow does the weird thing and flashes on one of the walls. Scares Junior shitless. And then he sees a damn big old cat bounce across the damn road, and we found a big old footprint. That damn footprint had to be that big around.
Wow.
Yeah. Well, that same night I got the eye blinking.
Mm-hmm.
The eye was like, you could see the eye shine walking, and then all of a sudden it blinks. And then we were standing probably maybe 15 feet away from what was possibly a tiger.
Oh, you guys were close.
Mm-hmm. Very.
Wow.
Well, when I ran into my eye shine thing, I don't call it anymore. I just call it eye shine thing. I had walked up there. I was by myself. It was about 11:30, 12 o'clock at night, and I had this little pin light with me. And I got up to the top of the trail of the cemetery, and I turned around and looked over my left shoulder like, yes, and in the trees I catch this eye shine, and their eyes are, God, they had to be that big around, and they were about that far apart. And it was about 2.5 feet off the ground. I'm like, okay, that's pretty cool, you know. And it starts playing peekaboo behind a tree with me. And I said, all right, I'm all right. This is cool, you know. I got, you know, it's awesome, you know. And then it stood up. And when it hit about 4 feet, I decided it was time to go. So I turned around and walked back out. But when I'm going up the trail, it's on some of the audio on the channel. I'm walking up the trail, and you hear me comment. And you got to remember, I didn't know anything about no damn tigers at this point. I said, but you hear me go, I just heard a little growl off to my left. It was weird. It kind of had a little purr to it.
No. Tiger wanted to play.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But I think the reason we haven't heard about any attacks out there is because these cats were brought up around humans. They don't see humans as food.
Mm-hmm.
And another reason they don't is because the game is so freaking plentiful out there.
Right.
You know, there's no problem getting food out there for them, I don't think. But I don't think they see us as a threat, you know. God help us if somebody wounds one. Whew. It may get ugly out there.
Mm-hmm.
Really.
Yeah.
And now we've got freaking bears roaming around. So we literally have, and we got mountain lions. We literally have lions, tigers, bears, and lions, tigers, and bears on my thing going, you know.
Oh my.
It's just, it's always something else. Always something else when you go out there.
And yet it still doesn't stop us from going up there.
No, it don't. And I'd still be, you know me, Amy, I'd still be going up there by myself if y'all let me, but
We won't let you.
That's dangerous.
Everybody had an intervention with Tex, and they grounded his ass.
Somebody had to.
We don't want you to be the next missing 411 subject.
No.
Well, I was told that, now look, you can go out there by yourself, just don't go up to the cemetery by yourself. I'm like, well, hell, I ain't going out there if I can't go up the cemetery, you know? That's one of my favorite haunts, pardon the pun, you know?
Yeah. But that cemetery is where everything crazy happens.
But I got to catch up on chat here, see what I missed. But let's see. Cryptoville says big cats like that will fish in water similar to a bear. So they will, yeah, okay, that makes sense. Especially, man, if the carp are in the shallows and stuff, they could have a smorgasbord. This is, I got a tiger by the tail. It's plain to see. I love that song. Got a tiger by the tail. But let me. I got these pictures. Now this one is the first still shot from the video, and it don't look like much.
No, this was me painting back to Laney.
Yeah, if you looked at that picture, you would think it's just a shadow, right? But this is like the next frame.
Oh, wow.
So, it's like,
oh, goodness.
Yeah. I mean, it looks like it's got a little hood on. It looks like it's got a little tail,
Oh.
And I call it a Jawa. I don't know what else to call it.
I don't know what to call it either. I just know I didn't see it when I was there.
So this materialized and then walked away.
Yeah.
Yes.
That's it coming out of the tree. That's
in the clip. In the clip, you can see it even turn its head and look at us as it's walking away.
Huh.
I know.
I have no words. Yes, I have no words.
Yeah.
I mean, it's obviously there's something there. I mean, I can almost see its calf muscle.
Yeah.
That same day, we caught a photo that has two boys in it. You can make out the outline of their shorts, the stripes on their shirt. You can make out their face perfect, their legs. It also looks like a woman and man holding each other, hugging each other. We also got Lainey kept hearing puppies, which at that point in time we had no clue about any of that kind of stuff that was going on there. Lainey kept wanting to go find the puppies. And I was just like, okay, we're not here to look for puppies. We're here to look for spirits, Don't wander off. But then we heard growling. We had the some of the knocks caught in that video. We had what sounded like a woodpecker going off like every 5 seconds. I mean, it was just so much activity there. And we had no clue that we were right in the center of this big old crap storm, as I like to call it, at that time. Now we know. I would never go with Lainey by myself there. I would not risk her getting hurt out there. So no.
Well, Amy, I don't know if you've seen these pictures. These are not my pictures. I didn't take them. But they were sent to me. And they're out of the Brown Springs Cemetery. Okay. Now, this one, let's see if this is the right one or not. Yeah. If you look, you can see ears. And lips canine. That's laying on top of a grave up there.
I also see a head, like at the bottom there.
Yeah. So that's one picture that came out of there. That was Red River Cryptids that got that one. Now this one coming up is the late and great Robert Dotson. Now he was like one of the first people to go up there and do his thing up there. And this is, Amy, right off the back of the cemetery, you got that barbed wire fence?
Yes.
Okay.
That's where Lainey kept hearing the puppies.
Where do you see this picture?
Oh, good Lord.
Oh, my. Wow.
Now you can make out a forehead, a nose, a mouth, eyes, arms. the whole 9 yards.
Oh wow.
That is
You
amazing.
cannot. Wow.
What do they think this is? Is it
Well, we're thinking that's a Bigfoot.
Yeah.
wow?
He's laid out. I mean, you can see how broad he is, and you got that. That's a 5-strand barbed wire fence. So
Oh,
laying down on the ground, his head's about 2.5, 3 feet off the ground
oh wow!
because he's looking through the third strand. So that's gonna put him up about 3 feet at the top of his head, and that's laying down, belly crawling.
Oh, that's amazing.
There's on the right side of the screen, you can see his arms extended, and it's almost reaching towards the bottom of the bottom
Mhm.
strand.
And this is during daylight hours too.
Yep.
Yeah. That's when we went, was during the daytime, the first time we went, and we got so much. Like, that video was just full of all different types. The cryptid, the paranormal, just, it was crazy.
That's
So
amazing. I really have to go out there now.
Brunson says Jawas don't have tails. I'm sorry, Brunson. I don't know what else to call it. It looks like it with the hood and everything. It looked like a damn Jawa to me.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Wow. So cool.
But yeah, I don't know what all we have going out there. Yeah, I don't.
It's extreme, whatever it is, it's extreme.
Yeah. And what's weird is, and I was telling you about this earlier, Amy, that since that night, it's been just even keel out there. I mean, it's just like a walk in the woods, you know.
Yeah.
Now I've been out there in several months, so you know, but
It's good energy.
Well, see, that's what I think. I think this thing used so much energy pulling all that shenanigans with us that it kind of run dry, and it's got to rebuild itself. Because
Man, it had to have used so much energy that night. That was the craziest thing I'd ever seen in my entire life.
Yeah.
There's no way that it wouldn't have.
It's amazing.
Yeah. Yeah, and I don't the whole puppy thing.
Don't fall for it. They're not puppies.
I don't know what that could have been out there. Baby dog critters or
I honestly think it was something trying to tempt us to come into the woods.
Mm-hmm.
It very well could have been, because you know, if you turn left and you go through the cemetery and you go back down that back side of that hill back there, there's that big old game trail right next to that, right by that cedar tree. Now, Kristen, just so you know, and everybody else, I found a cedar tree out there in the cemetery that had all the limbs stripped off of it from about 15 feet up down on one side. They weren't cut off; they were stripped off, and they were all piled up at the bottom, and something had been sleeping on them.
Wow.
Now,
Something
what
big.
you got to remember, it's a cedar tree. It's a natural bug repellent. You know, so it makes perfect sense.
Right.
You know, well, that game trail, big old game trail that leads off down the side down there. We were all up there one night. There was 4 of us, and I was in the lead, and we were single file. And I said, "Hey, let's go down this game trail." And I took about 2 steps towards that game trail, and we heard, and we felt it as much as we heard it from the game trail. Oh boy, in the back said, "It's time to go." So we all backed out and we left. We went back to camp, which was across the road and kind of crossing down the road a little bit. And about 2:30 in the morning, we was all sitting around a campfire, and we got screamed at. And it was coming from over there by the cemetery. Now, this scream, I've never heard anything else like it. Now, I've heard the cougar scream and all this kind of stuff. This was the only thing I can. You've heard people talk about banshee screams and all. That's what I would think a banshee would sound like. Was what I heard.
Hmm.
But for some reason, and I can't explain this. I don't know. Amy and Laney say I'm sensitive, and now with the whole I've been abducted thing, I don't know what to think anymore.
You are very
So,
sensitive.
Yeah.
but the feeling I got as soon as I heard that first scream was female.
Hmm.
And so I felt like whatever it was female for some reason. I don't know. And then about 20 minutes later, it had moved about 500 yards and paralleled us and screamed at us again. So that was an active night too. That was the same night I got zapped up there too.
That sounds like Bigfoot.
Yeah. But it sounds like a lot of other stuff too.
This is true. Yeah.
That's the problem. We've been cramming all this stuff under the Bigfoot umbrella for so long that we automatically think, "Oh, that sounds like Bigfoot." Well, yeah, but what else does it sound like? People talk about being zapped. When I was up there that night, I was loping right along, and there wasn't no problem in the world. And all of a sudden, I felt like I broke out in a cold sweat. I felt like I was going to pass out. I thought I was having a damn heart attack.
Yeah.
And so I slowed down. I'm leaning against a tree, and turned around and they said, "What's wrong with you? Why is it a damn ghost?" I said, I don't know, man. I just feel sick. I feel like I'm fixing to pass out. It lasted about 5 minutes and it was gone. I felt better afterwards than I did before. But the thing about it is, and people talk about the infrasound and everything, and that may very well be what it was. I don't know. But all the symptoms that you can experience from infrasound, you can experience from high EMF also. Disorientation, nausea, fainting stuff, the whole dizziness, the whole 9 yards. Seeing things, hearing things. They're so similar. How unless we had a recorder, and that's what I think we're going to have to end up doing, is getting some kind of recorder that. And I just went over the 52-minute mark. Dadgummit, girls. All right, we're going to have to take a 5-minute break, guys. If you want to catch the second half of this show, you're going to have to come over here to YouTube and hit that subscribe button. We'll be back in 5 minutes, guys. As soon as Tex finds the damn button. Four minutes to go, folks. 4 minutes. Three minutes. We're almost there. 2-minute warning, guys. 2-minute warning. One minute. 1 minute. Hey, we're back. We are back.
Woohoo!
Hello.
I walked in the living room. I was headed to the bedroom. I was going to take my night medicine, and my wife goes, "Well, that show didn't last long." I said, "Ain't no, we're on break. We're on pee break."
Had to make a run for it.
You know, let's see what we were talking about. Getting screamed at. I saw somebody in chat. They said foxes sound like women screaming. It's freaky, and it is. I've had them scream at me, and yes, it will freak the living crap out of you. Mama foxes, man, when they're around them kits, man, they get nasty.
Mm-hmm.
I was years and years ago. I was working the security job, and they had a big cafeteria, and then they had a big patio out yonder, And this place was out in the middle of nowhere, big office complex and everything. But anyway, one part of my walking tour, I had to go out the door of the patio, turn around, badge the little reader, and then go back in the other badge reader on the other side and go back in that door. I went out the door, and this was them old timey readers, man. You had to slide the card in and out. And so I go outside, and I turn around, and I'm just about to hit the badge, and this god awful scream comes from right behind me, and I almost crawled out of my skin trying to get back in that damn door. And at the time, I didn't know what in the heck it was. I hurried up. I'm about tore the damn door off the hinges trying to get in. I hit everything but the card reader trying to put my card in. But I got back in. I got my light. I turned it on, and I'm looking around. And this female fox and 4 kits was up on the ledge walking around. And I watched them. She had dug a den underneath that patio, and she was out there teaching them how to hunt. And boy, she was not happy with me when I walked out there, though. Good grief. So, yeah, I know up close and personal what them things sound like when they scream at you. So.
Yes.
And I'll tell you, one of the freakiest sounds that you'll hear is a rabbit in distress. That is one of the creepiest sounding things because it sounds like somebody's killing a baby.
And they're loud, too.
Yeah, they are. They're real loud.
Very loud.
You wouldn't think a little bitty critter, because they don't make any noise. They just hop along, minding their own business. Boy, hang them on the fence by their hind legs and see what they do.
Ooh. And just if you're out in the woods and especially alone and not expecting it, I've had a deer to blow at me, and that scared me. I'm like, it's a deer. Everyone knows what that sounds like, but when it's really close and you're out in the woods by yourself,
Exactly.
yeah, it can be quite chilling. You have to stop and be like, oh, and they're like, okay, wait a minute, it was a deer, it was a deer. But even that can startle you.
Well, that's like the last night that I was out yonder down there at Brown Springs, and I talk about laying in my tent, up on my cot, and I heard something walking around, and something blew at me. But the thing about it is, whatever was walking around, I thought it was Junior walking around, my tent on the gravel. So it was big, whatever it was, and it was, it was definitely on two legs. So I thought it was him, and then whatever it was blew at me. So I'm like, what in the hell's going on? And I should have been recording then, but I didn't. But I did catch the tree knocks that came afterwards. So that's some more of that audio that I've got that I hadn't got to put up yet. Because I got to get somebody to help me finagle with it. Because you got to, if you listen on your headphones, you can hear it, But I want to put it out here so, and boost it so everybody can hear it.
Yeah.
But so, Amy, what is this deal about skinwalkers around your area too?
Well, we didn't know it at first, that we were actually living in what's considered some of skinwalker territory here in Oklahoma. It never even dawned on me, because there is so many like reservations and stuff like that around here, and they're very, I guess, prominent in those areas. But me and my mom were coming home one night, and we saw what looked, and I can't say that they're skinwalkers what we're seeing. I'm just saying, when I explained to some of the people that live in this town, they're like, oh, that's skinwalkers. And you're in skinwalker territory. And I was like, oh, thanks. But
that's that whole frying pan fire thing we were talking about earlier.
Right. We just go all in. We go all in. We're not even, yeah. But me and my mom were coming down the road, and it seems like everything is just so dark here. Like, even with your headlights on and stuff like that, it seems like it's so dark here. And
well, it's because you ain't got the light pollution from the city now.
Right. And that's true. We don't have a whole lot of street lights and stuff like that here. But we seen what looked like a man that was naked, that was somewhat furry. Not furry, like, just, it looked like, it's very hard to explain. But it was.
I have an alibi.
I don't know. I knew it wasn't you, Tex, because you'd have been out there in the headlights just dancing. But it was running on all fours.
That dancer wasn't me.
At a speed that was so much faster than a human could do. But not so fast that we couldn't make out what it was.
Right.
But to me, I thought at first, and this is why I felt so stupid afterwards. At first, I was like, is that a fox? And then I was like, wait a minute. Foxes are not that big.
Yeah.
Huh.
And so I didn't know what it was. And I just threw it off as, maybe it's a junkie who, I don't know. All kinds of thoughts went through my head. And then my mom and my oldest daughter, she believes in the paranormal and everything like that, but she doesn't like to discuss any of it. She's so sensitive, she tries to shut everything away, and she doesn't want to bring any of that into light. But as far as the cryptid and everything, she's never seen anything. She sees our shows. She doesn't want to believe in that kind of stuff. She's trying to keep all of it out of her head.
Gotcha.
They seen one. Her and my mom seen one running along the side of them, and then across the road. she can't deny it, what she saw.
Right.
She cannot deny it. And she told me, Mom, that was the scariest thing I've ever seen in my life. So I just kind of casually, how do you bring that up in conversation? Is there naked men that are partly hairy running across the road here in town a lot? So I just said, hey, is there any cryptid activity that's supposed to be here? I thought I saw something going across the road and it looked like a man that was running on all fours, blah, blah, blah. And I said, oh, yeah, you're in skinwalker territory.
Huh.
Like it was
So-
nothing. Like it was an everyday question that people asked. And
So
I
it's
said,
been seen a lot of times then.
yeah.
Yeah. So the moral of the story is do your due diligence and research before you move out in the country to a small town, especially
Right.
in Oklahoma.
Right. I wish I would have now, because this is, and it's not just the skinwalker thing. It's this whole town has a aura around it. And we've had so many things happen since we moved here that I've even told several of my friends, I would probably pack up today and just head back to Texas.
Wow.
Because it's just the town. It's like the town has a curse or something. I don't know what it is. It's just it's not good.
Have you done any research into the town's history?
I have, but there's not a lot. And the people that you do talk to, they either aren't from here or they just don't want to talk to you.
You need to find an old timer that's been around and whose families live there.
Yeah.
He can tell you a little bit more. And who knows, the town may be cursed. I mean, you may be right. I do believe
We're
there
not
is.
going to say what town she's in. I'm sorry.
No, no, I won't say what town I'm in.
She learned that lesson.
Yeah, I definitely learned that lesson.
It's. I'm on the fence. We talk about these rakes and stuff like that, and skinwalkers, and what y'all saw out yonder at the cemetery, in Texas.
Mm-hmm.
You talk about that possibly being some kind of rake creature or something like that.
Right.
But yeah, I tell you what, these rake creatures and these skinwalkers, I don't know.
They're similar.
Yeah, I don't know or ET. I don't know what they are because, and I don't know if you can call them a cryptid or not.
No,
because
I
think I'm pretty convinced that these are paranormal creatures.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't tend to call a paranormal. I try not to call a paranormal entity a cryptid. But because I think that's part of what we're trying to separate. And when I say trying, I mean trying, because it ain't easy.
Mm-hmm.
But it, I don't know. I like the picture you brought up the other day of that looks like what y'all saw, because you said it looked like a human, but it had a really long torso, and it was on all fours, but like it was doing the crab walk like we did when we was in school.
Mm-hmm.
So weird.
But it was inverted.
Right.
So, and you said that the skin was almost translucent and everything. See, all that points to paranormal for me, and with it being in the cemetery, but I got to wonder if it's the kind of the same thing we got going up on at Brown Springs, if that's an entity that's watching over or controlling the spirits in the cemetery.
Right.
Some kind of demonic thing going on, because I know y'all do not get a good feeling when y'all go out there.
No.
Somebody was asking in chat, I think it was Lisa Lou. Let's see, let me find it. Yeah, Lisa, do y'all feel safe out yonder where you're at, or is it that bad out there?
I'm a firm believer in that I have something higher watching over me. And so I always say in my prayers, I always say, all that. I don't think it's a physical, anything that's after us physically. I think it's more of a mental challenge, and I don't think there's been a day go by that we've been here that we haven't had some type of bad luck.
Oh wow.
And that can be, a lot of people can say that your mind plays into that you can continuously make yourself have bad luck because I also know the difference between just regular bad luck and something's out to get you. I've been there before. And so I do believe that I have something higher watching out for us. But yes, I do have a fear that if we stay in this area that it's going to completely take over.
Well, let me ask you this. Hey, D.A. Roberts is in the house. How you doing, D.A.? Have you tried to get in touch with the people that had the house before you did?
The people that had the house before us are the two people that passed away in this house.
Oh wow.
Oh,
that's interesting.
Yes.
Wow.
Have you guys had a little session in the house to where maybe you've done some EVP or set a recorder out?
We have had several sessions that we've done in the house, but none specifically for that purpose, which I do want to do. But in a lot of the sessions that we do have now, we have more of and I'm not saying it's a demonic presence. I'm saying that the word demon comes in a lot, to where normally you'd hear it every now and then, whatever, but we hear it almost every single session, sometimes several. And I did an experiment day before yesterday that I just posted on the channel because I wanted to see the difference. Because it seems like things affect each one of us here differently, kind of almost like Burn Springs deal. It's kind of playing off of each other's, deals. But I had us all come into the office. We all three did a spirit box session in the same time frame, back to back, because I wanted to see if it was different when we were speaking to the spirits, how they reacted to each one of us personally. Well, with me and Lainey, it was so hard for us to hear anything, and we weren't even around each other. We were in the rooms by ourselves, and we both tended to say the same exact things. We felt like there was something all around us, but the spirit box seemed muffled. And, over the years, you get really good at listening to the spirit box. You hear, but me and Lainey both kept saying it sounds so muffled. You can't hardly understand it. But when Cody was in here, it was bam, 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 bam. And then Cody had made a joke because it said hello. And Cody said something to the extent of, we don't say hi or hello here. We say howdy. It said something, then it said demon. And it said it in such it sent chills down my spine when I woke Cody. Well, he was partially awake. And of course, I'm editing this video at 3 o'clock in the morning. And I'm like, Cody, listen to what it said while you were in here and you didn't even hear it. But it said several times, and it said Satan, and it said, his was geared more negative than ours was. We couldn't even make out. I could hear it plain as day when I was editing what was being said. But in that moment, we couldn't hear hardly anything. It sounded like everything was muffled. But with Cody, it was so loud. And Cody was even making it out, and he doesn't listen to the spirit box very often. This was actually his first spirit box session alone. And so it was just strange how it affected us all the same way, but also differently, because even Cody was saying there was something all around me. I feel like there's something right behind me. There's something to the left, to the right. It was just weird. So I think this house is just creepy crazy, and it would fit in perfectly out there at Brown Springs.
Well, have y'all, are y'all thinking about doing a cleansing for the house, or have y'all already tried that?
Say that again.
Are y'all talking about the possibility of doing a cleansing on the house, or have y'all already tried
Oh,
it?
that's definitely going to be a thing, especially if we decide to leave it.
Mm,
Because I don't want to take anything that's here with me.
Right.
yeah.
But yeah, we do a lot of stuff. Lainey, for the first couple of months that we lived here, she had a very hard time sleeping at night. And so I started doing different types of things before we went to bed, just to kind of cleanse the air a little bit and, make it a little bit easier for her to go to sleep. But yeah, I definitely want to cleanse this house big time and whatever's around it.
Yeah.
I think
And that'd
maybe
be interesting.
cleanse the whole entire town though. So it might be best if we just you go back to Texas.
Would be interesting to see on the spirit box. There'd be a change in what would come through after you cleanse the house.
Mhm.
You know, if
Right.
it's still saying demon and stuff like that, or if maybe it's a lighter energy or nothing at all. That'd definitely be interesting.
I wonder. Maybe we ought to talk to Junior and see if we can get him to bring Scout the Wonder Dog out yonder and see if he can pick anything up around the house.
Right.
Because I'm just curious as to what may be buried on the property.
It's funny you say that because
Uh-oh.
we have been like in our research. We had Google Earth this house. And let me see if I can find it first before I say all this. We just kind of wanted to see what the house looked like before. And I'm going to show you two pictures. So this one is, I need to make sure that the deal's off there because, oh, wait, I got to blow it up a little bit because it has my address on it. So this is blown up, mind you, okay? And from our house to the building in the back where it pings our address, which is not we're in the house above it,
Right.
is probably about 30 feet maybe. But when we did that, this is the picture that come up on Google Earth.
Oh, graves.
Weird.
Now I'm not.
Really?
We have went out back and we went on that area and kind of looked and stuff like that. See, this is why it's so weird. The more we find out about this place, the more it just I'm like, okay, just pack my stuff now. Let's go ahead and go. This is another picture that there's a house built next door to us right here. But then the next house over is it's all broke down. The house that's on there now is kind of all broke down and, no one lives there. But whenever this picture was taken, this was in where the house is now.
What is that?
I could not figure it out.
Oh,
That looks almost like a circle for worshiping something, or
It wouldn't surprise me, honestly, here. There's literally a church on every single corner here. And this town has one grocery store, a gas station, and a truck stop. And but there's a church on every corner. It just, I don't know. It's just like the more we find out about this town and this place, everything, it's really, I don't like it.
well, can't say as I blame you. I mean, it's. I don't. I believe that now I might, if I was you, I might have a conversation with Junior and just see, because it doesn't matter if those bodies are buried or not, if because they didn't always encase them in concrete,
Right.
and if if he comes out there and gets a hit on it, you may be sitting on top of a damn graveyard, girl.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. I wonder when those pictures were taken from Google Earth, like how long ago that was.
And somebody told me to go where to go look to find out the year, and they said you could change the year on it or something. I still have yet to figure out how to do that, or even what they're talking about, because I just now figured out Google Earth. So I'm definitely going to look into it and see if I can find the year that picture was taken. And let's see, Arena had said, is that like a barrel making? That is the entire size of where the house is now.
Huge
That
area.
circle, the screenshot that I have of it is just like a zoomed in picture. But if you zoom it out, that circle is the size of what my house looks like today. And my house is a pretty big house, so it's a huge circle. It's not just like a teeny tiny one.
Wow.
But yeah, it's creepy here.
If those graves, if it's just I'm just wondering if it's just the gravestones that are gone. You know, the markers, and the graves are still there. You know, but that's something that you could go to the. You ought to be able to go to the library and find out, especially since they're really into the town history and stuff over there.
Yeah.
Yeah. They all look fresh, though. I mean, how many? I can't. Was it 4 or 5 of them?
Yeah.
Yeah, there's 4.
I mean, they look pretty. I mean, the grass had not even grown over them. It didn't like so. It looked quite fresh.
Yeah, I don't know. It's weird.
It is weird.
It is weird.
But to me, the circle thing is like, it's like Corey is saying in chat. It looks like rocks are laid in place. You know, almost like a Stonehenge type thing going on. You know, I mean, not that it's big 1,000-pound stones or anything like that.
Right.
I'm just saying, you know, laid out in a deal like that. What do they call them things? Witch circles or something like that. But I know, you know how you go out and you know how you, after a big old rain, sometimes you go out in the yard, you're gonna have mushrooms grow up in a circle.
Right.
Yeah.
You ever seen that? My mom used to call them leprechaun playgrounds. She goes, "Oh, the leprechauns are playing. Leave them alone."
Well, it sounds like now I need to come visit Brown Springs. Now I need to come visit your house. I need to
Well, I'll tell you, you know.
This is the first place I've ever seen, and I've lived in some really haunted places. My last place was extremely haunted. This is the first place where I'm at the point of like, okay, I'm ready to just pack up and go. Because it's that on edge. And I'm not the one that Lainey's the one that's usually telling me, Mom, you need to like pull it back a little bit. This is dangerous. Come back.
Right.
I'm the one, and Lainey too, she's felt it since we moved here. She hasn't liked it since then. But I'm the one that's just like, maybe this is a little much. And for me to say that, it's bad.
Well, I can't promise you it would get any better if you moved down to East Texas.
No.
You might have more Bigfoot in the area there, but they get, for some reason, them critters down there are kind of ornery. Down there in the big thicket area and stuff, they get, for some reason they're just damned ornery creatures. They just got damn bad hair day every day or something. I don't know.
Well, I wish you the best of luck, and maybe a good cleansing will help some of that negativity go away.
Well, Amy, I really appreciate you coming on. It's been too damn long, and I'm glad we got a chance to catch up. I will come up and see y'all. Hopefully before you move. Hopefully before you pack up and move.
Hey, Twinkie. There's my sister.
But
Finally.
better late than never. Hello, April. Twinkie. Before we go, Amy, I've got to say thank you to, and I know you got a lot of your people over here, a lot of your listeners over here in chat. And I've got to thank everybody, you and Laney and Twinkie and Cody and everybody um, for putting together the family reunion and the awards banquet and everything like that. We were not able to make it, dadgummit, but we managed to take home Best Cryptid Channel again.
Yes.
And honestly, I cannot tell you how much of an honor that is, because it means a whole lot, because it's coming from your peers, and they obviously like what we're doing, and hopefully we can by next year we may be too damn big to win it, and that's okay with me.
That's all right. That's all right. But you can still come to the next one. It's gonna be Vegas, baby. So you two's gonna tear that town up.
Well, I wouldn't have to twist my wife's arm too hard to get her to go to Vegas. Believe it or not, I'm the one that don't like Vegas.
Well, we'll be there, so learn to love it.
But I did not have the best experience when I was there. I've been to Vegas one time, and Kristen does not have a channel, Brunson. She's all ours. But yeah, I just it was hot. We stayed at Circus, which is, we didn't know it, but it had a bunch of kids running around. It was just me and my wife. It's like, oh my gosh. And then we decided to go walking, and well, we didn't decide to go walking. We got put to ground is what happened, because I didn't realize that you could not catch a freaking cab to go. You can't get a damn cab to take you from a casino back to your hotel. They don't want to do it. They're waiting for airport runs. I'm like, what do you, good God, I just want to ride.
Well, Texas, we have whenever the hell you get their Uber service, so I ain't worried about all that.
Now I'll tell you what, that's the best damn Uber service I've ever had.
It is.
Thank
That's
goodness.
Cody, her husband, runs that little service for everybody, and yeah, me and him got to spend some time together, and we got to know each other, and that was great. Actually got to watch old boy go into protect mama and daughter mode that night. That was funny as hell.
Mm-hmm.
But I still don't know what in the hell that was in that cemetery. We were in San Antonio. Hell, there had to be, 20, 30 of us out there?
Yeah.
And we're sitting there. Y'all saw a guy, right? I mean,
yep.
Clear as day. And there wasn't nobody there.
Huh.
There wasn't nobody there. I went over and me and Cody went over and looked. Nobody. It was weird. And there wasn't nowhere for him to go either.
No.
That we couldn't see him. There was it was wide open. There was nowhere for him to go. He just flat out disappeared.
Yep.
Wow.
And they saw him clear as freaking day. And it wasn't just them. There was, a half a dozen people that saw that guy.
Yeah. That was craziest thing. It was.
That was at the what they call it? Was it the Shriners? Was it the Shriners?
No, it was the crud.
I want to say
I can't remember what something like that. But that we were there to see the grave of the lady who was buried in her car.
In her. She was in. What the hell was she buried in?
It was in a Jaguar.
Yeah. Wow.
Or Lamborghini or so. I don't remember which kind of car it was, but
Ferrari.
Ferrari, yes, Ferrari.
Ferrari, that's what it was. Now, this lady, this her husband was an oil tycoon.
Mm-hmm.
Now, he died at 36,
Oh,
37 years
Very
old.
young.
And then she inherited everything.
Yes,
And she had this, I believe it was a Ferrari, and
I
she
believe you're right.
absolutely loved this car. And her only request was she get buried in the driver's seat of this car in her favorite dress or nightgown or something
Not
like that.
her favorite naughty
Yeah. So
in an upright
this
position in the vehicle, or
yeah,
laid
Yeah.
back position in the vehicle. Yeah, it was
right.
crazy.
Oh my
So her and that whole
goodness.
car are buried in that cemetery, in their graves.
Yep.
Really?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
I have never heard of that.
yeah, it's pretty crazy. When you got no money, you can do
Yes,
anything.
I
Mm-hmm.
guess so. Wow.
She did not. She left all the money to her brother in her will, but she did not want him having her car, and so
That
she
was
was
her.
going to take it with her.
And
And she did.
she died.
Mm-hmm.
She died young too.
Yes.
Hmm.
So I'm still not convinced that she didn't kill her old man though,
I'm not either.
because he died of, I can't remember how he died. It was like something weird. As young as he was,
Yeah.
but yeah, it's a weird story. But that was a good time, man. We had a good time. It was we took everybody drinking margaritas and everything under the breezeway of the hotel, and
Mm-hmm. Yeah, we
damn
made our own
rednecks,
bar in Wilmington as well. So
damn rednecks invaded that place for sure. But San Antonio, so that wasn't the first. That wasn't a big stretch anyway. The poor thing, my wife, she went down there with me. She was wanting to go, and she come down sick. She didn't get. We was down there for what, 2 or 3 days. She didn't get out
yeah,
of the hotel room the whole time she was there.
yeah, bless her
Dang.
heart.
And she loves San Antonio.
Mm.
So yeah.
Hi, KJ.
KJ, email me. I want to have you on the show to talk about cults, because you are the person to talk to.
And she most definitely is.
Do what?
I said she most definitely is the person to talk to. She just had eye surgery, so
Well, God bless her. Dadgummit. Hope she feel better soon. But she was actually a member of a cult in
mm-hmm.
Australia, and was one of the key personnel to help shut it down. So it would be a very, very interesting interview, because
Mhm.
I'm not only into serial killers, I like studying occult thing too. It's because the way that mindset is just fascinates the hell out of me.
Yeah.
But, well, girl, I'm going to let you go. We've been here about an hour and a half or so, and but we're going to have you back and get an update on the house.
Oh, definitely. I'll
For
let you
sure.
know. I'll let you know how it's going.
And when this damn heat breaks, we'll all get together and do some stuff. We got some exciting stuff coming up down the road too. We've got some, and we need to get y'all down to the damn Jefferson conference this year too. We're looking at doing. Let's see. Text. Do I have an email? Yes, I do. Would somebody drop the email in chat for me, please? Me and Randy and a buddy of ours are going to do some river investigations. So we're going to take we're looking at we're trying to raise money to buy a thermal. We don't want to go extremely cheap on this because we want a decent one. We found one that is good out to 600 yards, and it's got 8 gigabytes of memory in it, and it seems like it's a really good one. But honest to God, I ain't got $600 just to drop on it, or I would. But so we're going to be trying to raise money for that. So if y'all feeling froggy and want to chip in, go for it. I ain't going to argue with that. But we're looking at we're hitting the Red River, the Brazos River, the Sulphur River, the Falk River, and the Sabine River. And we're looking at what we're going to do is we're going to start. We're going to put in and we're going to drift. I'm thinking we're just spitballing right now, but I want to take about a 2-day trip or a 3-day trip and try to drift down about 10 to 20 miles and have the thermal and night vision going the whole time. And we're just going to be like fishing. We're going to be watching. And anytime
when are we doing this?
when it cools off. But those are 3 very active rivers as far as Bigfoot and Dogman.
Mm-hmm.
And, so we're going to try that and see if we can catch some stuff on thermal and night vision and all that good stuff. If nothing else, maybe we get hollered at, some rocks thrown at, stuff like that. But who knows? But that's the plan anyway. Well, Amy, thank you very, very much. It's good to talk to you. Give my girl a hug
It was
for me.
blast as always.
Give my girl a hug for me and tell her, Tex loves her. Her teddy bear still loves her.
Oh,
I will. You know
it's
she
nice
loves you.
meeting you.
Nice meeting you as well.
Kristen, it's been a hoot. This was your debut, and you did a fantastic job, by the way.
Oh, thank you.
And she is going to be the next show that I know she's going to do. We're having MK Davis on the 4th.
4th, yeah, August 4th.
Yeah, and it's me and Rob will be there, but you and Rob are pretty much going to have the reins of that show. I mean, it's Rob's show, but I've talked to Rob about it. But I need to have a conversation with MK before we do the show and talk to him about some stuff. But because he's kicked the hornet's nest with this latest stuff he's put out. So yeah,
I can't wait to talk with him. I'm a little bit of a fan, just a little bit of a fan, so I get a little nervous.
Well, and I don't know, and that's one thing I got to talk to him what he's willing to talk about.
Right.
So because I don't want to jump the gun on anything that he hadn't put out, he hadn't talked about, or anything like that.
Mm-hmm.
But anyway, folks, we'll see you. What is today? Today's Monday. Tuesday's our day off. Wednesday, Jason McLean questions everything, and y'all know he does. So y'all catch that. And then Thursdays at noon, we got Brunch of Bigfoot. Thursday night, we've got Serial Papers. That's Jason again. And then Friday, I don't know if you're off, Kristen, or not, but Friday, we've got your partner in crime, Jessica Jones, doing her remote viewing stuff.
Yes.
You know what? That just hit me. It just hit me. Amy?
Mm-hmm.
Let me talk to Jessica and see if she can remote view your place.
Okay.
Oh, yeah. She's really good at that.
Yeah.
Really good.
So, that might shed some light on what you got going on down there.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
I could answer a lot of questions.
Yeah. At least you got, might give you an idea of what you're up against anyway.
Nice.
So, but yeah, we'll talk to her and see if we can do that and we'll get you all in touch, and because she'll have to ask you some questions and stuff like that.
Okay.
But if you're okay with that, anyway.
Oh, I'm great with it. Yeah.
And then what we'll do is we'll have you come back on her show if she does. If we end up working it out, and that'd probably be a nice little break for her too. It won't be as intense as other stuff she's been doing. I'm always trying to get her to remote view somebody that got tore apart.
Oh no.
Who knows? She may uncover some things like that. There are some grave pictures out there.
Yeah, never know.
You never know. Never know.
Right.
But everybody, thanks for joining us. Amy, thank you so much. I love you, girl. And Kristen,
Love y'all too.
Thank you, guys.
thanks for coming on. I really appreciate you giving, that other guy the night off.
All right,
And I
Tex, I
gotta
will
tell you,
text you. I will text you, Tex. I got to get off here. I got some kids that are screaming in there.
all righty. Bye-bye.
All right, love y'all.
Bye.
Bye.
Good night.
Guys, thanks everybody for joining us. And we'll catch y'all on the flip side.
Yep.
Y'all
See
be
y'all
careful.
next time. Bye.